The following video is one in a series on spiritual resilience training, a non-religious view of personal values and their dynamics with others. The contents reflect a variety of principles and practices of systems theory and relational counseling for team building and family resilience. Although the series is intended to support Army Corps values, each video also encourages the viewer to reflect on their current prominent values in specific situations and to consider what values may be more appropriate to means and results that are honorable and helpful with others. Chaplain Dillard initiates creating and posting these videos. Their contents and YouTube's linked videos do not necessarily reflect specific beliefs, practices, requirements, or endorsements of the Department of Defense, its subordinate organizations, or other groups with which Chaplain Dillard is affiliated.
Welcome back. Today I want to introduce you to an exercise in speaking as a whole person. Now that phrase might seem odd. How can you speak as a partial person? But we do it all the time. Sometimes you'll hear somebody just kind of rattling off data from their head, just facts about the weather or sports or things that happen at work, but they don't really talk about issues of the heart. Or you'll maybe talk yourself about things that you did, but really not very vulnerable in talking about what that meant to you or what you believed about that. Now, behind me is a little visual aid about how we can speak as a whole person, what we believe, our reactions, which are emotions or feelings about those beliefs, our actions, what we choose to do, and our values, what we are pursuing, all of it in the context of a relationship. That's what the hands represent. Now, I'm not the best artist, but I'm going to give you a better graphic in a slide in a moment. There are two basic purposes and benefits of this exercise. One is for a deeper awareness of yourself, to know yourself better. Now, again, that might sound odd if you're not familiar with the importance of self-awareness, but oftentimes we may have a surface belief about ourselves in a situation, but under that are layers of deeper beliefs. Sometimes under anger can be sadness or fear, and vice versa. Actions can be a means toward a goal of another action, and values are often multi-layered and complex as well. So it can be very helpful to articulate these things in specific ways that lead to deeper realities about what's going on. There are two reasons for that. When we understand ourselves better, we can either decide, okay, I want to keep this belief that I have about this situation, this relationship, or I want to choose something differently. But we can't choose something different unless we know what we truly believe or value or where our reactions, our emotions are coming from. So the ability to know yourself better lets you reinforce those deeper things when you realize what they are, or choose something different or a combination based on what's most appropriate. The second benefit is when you share this exercise with somebody else, and you can do it in written or verbal form. I recommend you start in written form. I'll explain that in a moment. When somebody else knows you more deeply, then they can decide how to be helpful to you in that relationship, especially if it's your spouse, one of your kids, a close friend, or a coworker that you trust. Now, I need to say this up front. When you begin to reveal things that are more deeply true about yourself, if it's a friend, it gives them leverage to be a greater friend to you, and they can use that for the advantage of the relationship to become closer and stronger. If you give that to somebody that is not trustworthy, they can use that against you. So use discretion in who you share this with. I recommend that you do this on a piece of paper, and I'll lead you through that in a little bit later. Do it privately with yourself. You can share it with somebody else as you choose later, as you become more proficient with this. But right now, let me walk you through it. Here's the slide that depicts the same picture, but maybe in a way that can help you remember it better because it's a better visual aid. Notice that the first step is that everything must be an I statement. in this relationship or with this group, and always preface it with that to remind yourself it's a relational context. In this relationship, I believe I am intelligent, or I am insufficient, I am ill-prepared, I am experienced, whatever you would want to say about yourself. I feel, in this relationship, I feel bad, mad, sad, or glad. Bad being defined as I feel fearful or guilty. Mad, sad, and glad are self-explanatory. But only one of those initially. I want to take charge. I want to hide. I want to teach. I want to be a part. Be more of a part of the group. Whatever you would say. I want control. I want safety. I want more intimacy. Whatever you would say there. So it's an I statement. The next principle or step of the exercise is that you can start anywhere, but place that statement right in the center. Use a big sheet of paper, write small, put it right in the middle of the quadrant, and you can start wherever you want to. And I've already implied one of the next steps of the exercise. When you make additional statements, make sure that if it's kind of a superficial or surface statement, put it above that initial statement in the center. If it's kind of a restatement of the same thing, put it beside it. If you're going deeper, put it underneath it. So you've got a visual picture of your understanding of yourself and what you believe, feel, or doing, and what you want. The next principle is that we are to bounce around in any direction and repeat as often as we want, and keep going until you're satisfied with your statements that they are deep enough for right now. Let me say a couple things about that. Start wherever you want and bounce around wherever you want as often as you want. So you can start with reactions, which are our emotions or feelings, and go back and forth. I'm mad. I want more recognition. I'm really mad. I want to be able to contribute to this group. I am so mad. I want to be able to bring my skills. I'm sad that I'm not being used as much as I would like to be used. So you've gone a little bit deeper there, because as I gave the example a while ago, you may want to be here because that's just how your personality is, and then you'll come over to a statement about what you think about yourself or what you want to do. So you want to eventually fill all the quads and go as deeply as you want to go for now. If you go too deep and you don't feel safe, you're not going to want to do the exercise again. Or if you go so deep, it's like surgery, that if you open your chest for heart surgery, but you're not prepared to heal that heart surgery, you've created more of a mess than you can fix or than you can address. So go deep enough for now that it's a little beyond your comfort zone, but not completely beyond your comfort zone. Does that make sense? I think the physical analogy will help. Now, you'll notice that I've got an O here, and you may have already seen that B.R.A.V almost spells a word. In fact, it almost spells two words, brave or bravo. Because through this process, you're probably going to have one or two responses. You're going to have an O moment or an E moment. O meaning, oh, that makes sense. And it will be a pleasant revelation to you, and you'll understand how your mind and your heart and your feelings and your actions all fit together in the context of that relationship, and you'll want to make some appropriate changes or reinforce some things that you already believe and value in some actions. Or you may have an E moment where what you see kind of brings a response of, I don't like what I'm seeing. But you have still been brave to go through that process. And even when it's an unpleasant discovery, it's sort of like seeing Tom Cruise's top front tooth right in the middle of his face. You can never unsee it once you've seen it. And once you discover something about yourself, I want more appreciation. in my family. And I'm not really so much mad as I am sad, because I feel like I am insufficient as a husband or a father. And I've been so busy at work because it's a way for me to hide from my family, because if I bring my insufficiency to the family that I love, which is also a value and a deeper value, then I will just get more sad and eventually feeling bad, scared, or guilty that I'm bringing myself the problem to the relationship. And how can I make the relationship better if I'm the problem? So that might be an moment, gee, I don't like this, but to be able to say that to your spouse or to your teenager, if they're a mature teenager, I think you'll find that you'll get a lot of compassion and insight from your spouse, assuming it's a reasonably healthy relationship. So the benefits, again, of this self-awareness, deeper self-awareness, so that we can decide what do we want to really reinforce and hang on to that we already believe, feel, are doing, or value, or what do we want to change, but we can't really choose to reinforce it or change it unless we're aware that we're doing it. And the second benefit, when you share that with somebody who is trustworthy, with discretion, that person knows you more deeply, that they can be helpful to you at the deeper level, and your friendship or your work relationship or whatever that relationship is stronger because of it. Hope that makes sense. More importantly, I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you next time.
At the release date of this video, I am stationed with Research, Development, and Engineering Command, RDECOM, at Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. Because the majority of our personnel are in this area, I spend most of my time here. I do, however, travel to our distant units based on command priorities and budget. I place these videos on YouTube for broad visibility to Army personnel and their families, but I hope the videos will be helpful to others too. If you are assigned to RDECOM and want to request specific topics by video, training on site or by VTC, or confidential counseling on site or by secure webcam, you can contact me at jeffrey.d.dillard.mil@mail.mil.